Hello, bonjour, namaste, ni hao, and ohio everybody. What is going on? It is Galeriot here. Welcome back to the YouTube channel once again for another Danmachi Memoria Freese video. And today we're going to be returning to an old favorite. We're going to be returning to Tier List Maker because today we're going to be ranking all the Hero Festa units from 1 to 6. It's not a tier list. It's not S, A, B, C, D. None of that. We're doing a proper top 6 tier list for these Hero Festas. Now you might be wondering, and you might be telling me in the comment section right now, well, Gail, why didn't you just wait for the anniversary? Because we're going to be getting the Hero Festa unit that will cover the water element. Then we'll have all the elements. Well, you are right. We can do that, and we will be definitely doing that when that unit comes out. But today, I am doing this because if we take a look at my party, we can actually make a full Hero Festa team right now in game. So I decided, you know what, let's do a top 6 ranking. I was gonna say tier list there, nearly. It's not a tier list, it's a top 6 ranking of all the Hero Festas based on my likes, dislikes about them. This includes stuff like their artwork, did they choose the right character for Hero Festas, as well as just generally, do I like using them, and of course, how do I find going up against them being like, you know, is it good, bad, is it annoying, frustrating, is it nice? I'm going to be considering all of those factors when I'm going to be ranking these units from 1 to 6. So of course, I know you guys will probably have differing opinions, so leave it in the comment section down below. Let me know what your top 6 would look like when it comes to these Hero Festa units, because I know all of you guys have all these units. Okay, whenever I see the comment section of my Hero Festa summon videos, I just see people saying, oh, I got +7 of this unit and +5 of the other unit. I had a good time, clearly, and I'm just there like, you had more than a good time, clearly. So I know you guys have these units. Let me know in the comment section down below what your top 6 would look like. And of course, if you guys enjoyed this video, please be sure to leave a like down below and subscribe to the channel for more Danmachi Memoria Freese content, because I am going to be making a full Hero Festa adventure setup in the future for a war game season. So be sure to stick around for that content. Of course, it's going to be a while before that happens, because I don't think the next war game season is for at least another 3 weeks, if I'm not mistaken, because we have Record Buster this week, Familiar War Games next week, and you can best believe I'm not testing a full Hero Festa team for Familiar War Games. And then we obviously have, I think, another Record Buster before we get War Games. So it's gonna be a while before we get the next war games, but be sure to stick around for that content, of course. Now, at the end of this video, what I'm also gonna be doing is that I'm gonna be also doing a top 6 ranking of these Hero Festa units based on what I think about them in terms of pure power, in terms of PvP content. How good are they in the current meta? I'm gonna be doing that in the next couple of minutes, I should say. I say next couple of minutes, it's probably like 10-15 minutes away. So be sure to stick around for the towards the end of this video, because I'm going to be doing that as well. Now, let's start off with a tier list, or top 6 ranking, I should say. I'm going to say tier list along this video. It's technically not a tier list, it's a top 6 ranking. But let's start off with this top 6 ranking. So what I'm going to do to start us off with is a little game of eeny, meeny, miny, mo to choose our first character. So let's start us off, right? Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Catch a tiger by his toe. If he roars, let him go. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Okay, we're starting off with Bell, and I'm not gonna lie, he's number 1 for me. I think he's probably the least hype, in all honesty, in my personal opinion. Out of all of these units, he's probably the least hype in terms of design and the moment and everything. Well, in terms of the moment, it's probably one of the most hype, actually, because it's of course from the Bell versus Astreus fight, but it's just Bell, right? I think that's one of the issues with this character, is that it's just Bell, right? There's no, you know, significant outfit to him or anything, and of course he was one of the first 2 Hero Festa units, right? But I put him at number 1 purely because of how much fun I have with him, not only just in war games, but in other forms of content, PvE content especially, right? Of course, because he is a light unit, he fits in extremely well with the rest of the 5th anniversary team, and as a result, any sort of content that I do, you know, I always use the light team. You've seen it in whenever we've done challenge videos, like going up against the Juggernaut, you know, round 1 and 2, of course, of the Juggernaut. Then, of course, you know, the Amphis Bana fight. Then, of course, you know, the Grand War fights, as well as Record Busters, 7th Zone. You name it, right? We always take the light team. And for me, I just find him a lot of fun to use. And, of course, him being so powerful as well is just an add-on factor. Now, if we come to war games and I do think he's very much easily counterable. I think he's probably one of the more counterable war games units, but I do think can still hold his own, especially if you can run maybe a nuke turn one team or something like that. He can be a real aid to the rest of the team, so he can hold his own in war games. And I think he's also one of the more fun units to face off against in war games. It's not like stall teams where it's just a bunch of annoyances and stuff like that, because trust me when I say this, stall is probably the least fun team to face off against. And according to that, you already know where I'm going to be placing some of these units already in terms of the top 6 ranking. But I just think that outside of his artwork as well as the character that Bell is, I mean, just generally speaking, the moment he comes from, as well as the fun playstyle he brings to the team. Of course, he works well with the light team, hence why he's so fun to use. I mean, I'll probably say the same thing with the Hero Festa that will come out during the anniversary, because you can probably assume that whenever that Hero Festa comes out, assuming it is a water element Hero Festa, and let's say the anniversary is also water, that Hero Festa is going to be a lot of fun to use, because he'll be so usable in PvE contents and stuff like that as well. That's not to say that you can't use any of these other Hero Festas in PvE. It's just that Bell has a team around him that is really good as well, right? Whereas the other teams have some, niggling issues here and there in terms of being a complete PvE team like how the light team is. So I would say Bell is number 1 for me. I wasn't expecting to chuck my number 1 so soon, so we're gonna do a round of eeny meeny miny mo again. So eeny meeny miny mo, catch a tiger by his toe, if he roars let him go, eeny meeny miny mo. You know what, I'm ignoring eeny meeny miny mo, because I'm not gonna say where Ryu will go, but you already can guess where Ryu is going. I'm gonna go to Astreus 6. I'm sorry, even though he's from a hype moment and he is our first Astreus that we have gotten in the game, I just hate facing off against him because I hate stall. And on top of that, just his playability I feel like is so restrictive. I don't find using him in PvE contents is great. I think if I take a look at even like, say for example, Record Buster events, right, where Dark Physical has been extremely strong purely because of the weaknesses and stuff, right, from the boss side of things, right, when we had, for example, the anime gacha Kaguya, the Dark Physical Kaguya that was single target, right, and we had a season of Record Buster where Dark Physical was super strong, Astreus wasn't really usable in that sort of situation. A lot of people were running towards units like Revis, the Dark Finn from the 5th anniversary instead, units like those instead. So Astreus isn't great in terms of a PvE standpoint either, and as a whole, when you face off against him in PvP and stuff, I just don't have any fun against him, in all honesty. I really don't, and it's just a pain. And this is not just coming from somebody who obviously used Bell a lot, because you guys might be saying, well, Gale, you use Bell, of course you're not gonna have fun against Astreus because he's gonna block you. But generally as well, when I would use other teams as well, and I would use teams like with featuring Hero Festa Ryu, Hero Festa Elise and stuff like that, I still just wouldn't have a lot of fun going up against Astreus. I don't know why, even though I would probably say this guy is probably going to take that spot of being the most unfun unit to face off against. I just don't know what it is about Astreus that I just don't have any fun using him or even facing off against him. And I know some of you guys will also say like, oh, I have him at +1, that's probably why I'm not having fun. But that's not the case. I just don't know. I don't know what is it with Astreus. I just don't have fun using him, in all honesty. So I'll put Astreus at number 6. Now, let's go to Allen. Allen is a very fun unit, in all honesty. I love his artwork. I think that is one of the biggest points I would make about Allen, is that he has probably the best artwork in the game. This is probably Danmemo's best art they've ever made, honestly. I would easily say that. However, I will probably put him at number 4. And not at number 2 or 3, in all honesty. And the reason for that is because he's very easily counterable in this meta. I don't understand what they were thinking with designing him the way they did, in all honesty, because while his artwork is beautiful, his stats are brilliant as well. You look at him, he's a fantastic unit. But then you take a look at his kit, right? I mean, yes, he can be in a good team. I even got to King 1 with a team featuring him and a couple of other non-MLB units. It was really, really good. But the problem is, right, he's very easily counterable by a majority of teams. While he can beat some teams, I feel like the teams that can beat him are way more than the teams that he can beat effectively, and that's an issue with him. And the biggest issue for that reason, and the reason why it's an issue, is because he gives himself 100% agility buff, but the problem is it's on a fast ability, which means if you have or you're facing off against a unit that can strip away agility buffs, right, units like Festa, units like the anime gacha Bell, you're gonna be running into a problem where he gets nullified instantaneously. Of course, you can use him in the right team setup, right? Of course, if you check out the live stream I did yesterday, I think this video is going to be going out the day after the live stream, actually. But in the live stream, I used this Allen in a team with counter assists as well, like Argonaut Tiona. I had Haruhime as well as an agility debuffer. I had, of course, Bell, the anime gacha Bell as well, and a couple of other units to just try and see what I could do with this Allen. And I was winning matches, but I was also losing a lot of matches as well. It was like a back and forth. It was like one step forward and then maybe 2 steps back, or like 2 steps forward and then 1 step back. It was very random. It was very RNG based, and as a result, as much as I like this Allen, and I cannot wait to see him in action for PvE contents as well. I've used him a little bit in 7 Zone and stuff like that yesterday, but I want to see him in potentially like a Familiar Rush or a Record Buster potentially. Tomorrow, with Record Buster going live, I'm going to be very excited to test him out. I think he can hold his own in Record Buster as well, because if you look at what he's capable of doing in terms of the buffs he gives and stuff like that, I think he'll be in a very good position to be a very, very strong option for a lot of players, at least when it comes to PvE contents. I think he's going to be really, really good. Hence why I am putting him at number 4 still, to be honest. There is a possibility he might go up depending on how his performance is going to be in PvE, but I think he'll be at number 4 for now. At number 3, let's go with number 3. I was gonna do number 5, but let's go to number 3. I'm gonna put Hero Festa Elise, I think, here. Now, Hero Festa Elise and Ryu, as a byproduct, were 2 Hero Festas I wasn't expecting. I will be honest and say that. In all honesty, I was thinking that the Hero Festas for the Australia record were actually going to be Zard and Althea. But it turns out that I was completely wrong. We did get a new Zard and Althea, but they were actually just time-limited units. They were regular time-limited units. One was an assist, one was an adventure, and they called it a day with Zard and Althea there. But instead, we got Hero Festa Elise and Ryu. Now, for me, I really like Hero Festa Elise. In fact, I wanted to get Hero Festa Elise +5 more than I did want to get a Hero Festa Ryu. And, well, that didn't really turn out the way I thought it would, actually. I ended up getting Ryu to +5, and at the time of their banner, I got Elise to +3. I got Elise +4 in the most recent banner. That being said, though, I was completely right in how much of an impact Elise would have. I mean, if you take a look at war games right now, right? I mean, we're gonna take a look at war games right now, and I'm gonna show you guys just how good of an option this Elise can be. The number 1 player has Elise in their main team. I mean, if you take a look at more teams, right? Emiya's team as well, I'm pretty sure has Elise. It's a turn 1 nuke team. Take a look at Nobu as well. Elise again in that team. You just have a lot of players running Elise. You can see any team with Vesta, you know, the Althea or Elise in the main like icon picture, you know they're basically running a form of Elise turn 1 nuke team or turn 2 nuke team. Basically, they are just such a good option. She's such a good unit, and I wish I got her, of course. I ended up getting her, of course, to +3, which was still good enough. I always say for these Hero Festas, you want to ideally get to +3, and yeah, I have a lot of fun using her. And actually, I will also like to add, in terms of even PvE contents, she's a lot of fun. I genuinely believe she's a lot of fun, and you know, this is something that I used against the Australia record EX stages, actually. In the EX stages, going up against the dragon and I think it was Delphine, right? I think it's Delphine is the dragon's name. And then, of course, the Althea and Zard EX battle, right? I used this Elise, and she was a great option. So for me, Elise goes to number 3. And to partner her up, I'm putting Ryu at number 2. It's going to be a little bit controversial because of how good Ottarl is, and that'll give you guys an indication of where he will scale in the power rankings. But I think in terms of just a unit that was a lot of fun, and I will admit I was wrong when I was summoning for her. I was really disappointed getting Ryu to +5, even though I like Ryu as a character. Of course, I would have preferred getting Althea and Zard as a Hero Festa, but I do think Ryu and Elise as options for Hero Festas wasn't a bad idea whatsoever. I think it was a brilliant idea for them to go down this route. And of course, with Ryu being such a popular character, one of my favorite Danmachi female characters, of course, as well, right? I absolutely adore her. Now, my issue came from I didn't know what to think about her kit. She was definitely leaning towards stall, and I'm not a big advocate for stall, so this is kind of controversial for me to put her in number 2. But generally as well, when it comes to PvE contents as well as even in PvP, I feel like she's a little bit more universal. Of course, she will primarily feature in a stall team. She will do best in a stall team, but I feel like she's just got so much going for her with her abilities stalling, giving, you know, the debuffs and buffs to the enemies and allies respectively is fantastic. Her initial buff as well isn't too broken. Of course, for a stall team, it's really good as well, but it's only covering like 4 elements. We actually talked about it in the live stream, but I think we were talking about her having dark, wind, water, and thunder res only, right? She doesn't have a resistance to fire, earth, and light, right? Which allows her to be vulnerable to those 3 teams, which actually is nice as well, right? It's not a perfect stall, but it isn't like game-breakingly annoying stall either, right? It's nice to be in the middle of the two, and I think that's what makes me like Ryu a lot more than even units like both Astreus and Ottarl, who I'm gonna place at number 5. The reason why I'm placing Ottarl lower than Allen, I would have probably placed Allen a little bit lower because of the counter issues and stuff, right? But I'm placing Allen here because he's just brought about this meta alongside the April Fool's Bet, which I cannot believe I'm saying this. April Fool's Bet. And the annoyance of just facing off against every team featuring ailment now. I am just so frustrated with just going up against ailment again and again and again and again, and it's so annoying. And also, I just didn't expect to see Hero Festas for Allen and Ottarl as well. And it's one of the reasons why I placed them a little bit low down, because I personally didn't want them to get Hero Festas anytime soon. I knew they would inevitably get Hero Festas, especially with, future events and of course what may happen in the light novels and stuff like that, and so on and so forth. But I do think that, just generally as well, I would have thought that they would have gone down the route of maybe like an Aizen Riveria Hero Festa more so, characters that are much more loved, I would say, in the community, right? Them going with Allen and Ottarl was surprising, but at the same time, I will say it is nice that they went for Ottarl and Allen. It's something a little bit different for sure, right? So far, they're on a track record of 2 male Hero Festas, 2 female Hero Festas, 2 male Hero Festas. So the next 2 might be female, who knows? But yeah, Ottarl has just brought this whole meta of ailment, which is really annoying to face off against. But I do think he's a fun unit. I do think he's still a fun unit. If I could, I would probably do something like this maybe, where I just do this, where there's like a huge gap between Ottarl and Allen to Astreus. To be honest, if I was doing a tier list, that would be where I would do what I would do, to be honest. I just don't like Astreus that much. I don't know why. It's just something that's a little bit weird, I guess, on my end. But this is how I would rank my Hero Festas in terms of the fun, usability, what I think about them as characters, their moments. Did I think they deserve Hero Festas as well? Stuff like that. But now let's talk about the power rankings. Where would I place them in terms of their actual abilities? Well, I'm gonna go and just get it done right now. Well, there you guys go. This is how I would rank the Hero Festas in terms of their power. I think Ottarl is top dog right now. The things I've seen with this Ottarl is insane. He is ridiculously good. And of course, no doubt about it, his ailment inflictions and obviously the ailment teams running amok. He's more universal. You can run him like on a ailment team, a stall team, a rush team. You can run him on anything. He's a very much jack of all trades unit, and he's super, super fun. I would say next up is Alize. I was deliberating on whether I put Ryu over Alize, but I think I will put Alize over Ryu right now because, of course, again, she also is capable of being on a couple of different teams. She's capable of being on Nuke turn 1. She's also capable of being on a turn 2 rush team as well. And then, of course, she can run a sort of like double nullification setup with like Supply Princess Eyes, allowing you to get a lot of nullifications going basically and making it a null city fight basically, which is of course very annoying to face off against. So I would say Alize goes to number 2, Ryu goes to number 3. Again, very similar to Ottarl. Her resistances and stuff allow her to play a great role in any team, but again, just like I mentioned earlier on, I think her weaknesses are also present, with her being a very vulnerable character to certain elements, specifically the elements above her actually in Ottarl and Elise. So there is a factor there. Now this is where I wasn't sure, and actually I'm gonna make a change right here. I was thinking of putting Allen over Belle, but I feel like Belle can be on more teams than Allen. Also, I'm having a serious bout of deja vu right now. I don't know why I had to say that, but I feel like I've experienced this sometime before with these set of units, and I don't know where. Sorry about that. I had to just get that out of my chest. A serious moment of deja vu. Do you guys get deja vu at any point? I swear it happens so often for me. I feel like it's already happened before. But yeah, I would say Belle goes a little bit over Allen just because of his usability in PvE contents. I think that just pushes him up a notch more so than anybody else, but also just generally in PvP as well, in war games. I feel like he can hold his own tremendously, especially when he has the slow buffs going as well, which allows him to actually go after potentially units like Festa as well as the anime gacha Belle and Ryu. So I think that's what gives him that upper edge over a unit like Allen, for example. And yeah, Allen, like I said, he's very strong, but I just think that he's got his weaknesses, and I feel like there are a lot more teams that can counter him than units that can, that he can counter basically. And then finally, Astreus. I mean, a couple of months ago, I would have probably put this guy top dog now, but I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I think they made him a little bit too reliant on the light res, and as a result, I think they were trying to focus on too much on trying to counter the light team, because right now I would say any of the teams with these guys, maybe outside of Light Belle, but even if you set up like Light Belle with like Ottarl potentially for that physical res down, I'm not gonna lie, Astreus is a sitting duck against those sort of teams, and that's where his weaknesses come. I'll be very honest and say that I think Astreus is not the unit he once was, and in fact I think out of all the Hero Festas, he's probably the one that's been power crept quite a bit, in all honesty. That's my personal thought process. Let me know what you guys think about the power rankings as well. But yeah, this is my tier list when it comes to how strong these characters are. Let me know what you guys think down below. Let me know your own personal tier list as well as how strong you think these units are as well. You can make it on according to how you like the units as well. There's no reason for you to make it on how strong these characters are. Go on likes. Let me know which of these Hero Festas you like the most and like the least. Let me know in the comment section down below. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please be sure to leave a like down below. Subscribe to the channel for more Danmachi and Danmachi Memoria Freese content, and I will see you guys next time. Take it easy, everybody. Bye bye.